tell a Ford guy to buy a Chevy, and you will not just get a simple, polite no, but rather you will get a highly emotional and deeply defensive reaction as if you had just insulted his own family directly to his face. They will aggressively defend a massive multinational corporation that does not even know they exist, and they will constantly fight over car brands with an intensity that seems completely irrational to the outside world. But this extreme brand loyalty has absolutely nothing to do with horsepower or reliability or towing capacity, because it actually traces back to deep evolutionary psychology and how humans use physical objects to signal their core identity to others. For hundreds of thousands of years, human survival depended entirely on belonging to a strong, cohesive tribe. If you were cast out of your tribe, you would not survive the harsh prehistoric winter alone, so the human brain evolved to rapidly form intense attachments to specific groups and to view competing groups with immediate suspicion and hostility. Today, we no longer live in nomadic tribes running from predators, but our brains are still running on that exact same ancient evolutionary hardware. Instead of wearing specific animal skins or painting our faces with specific colors to signal which tribe we belong to, we now park a specific brand of vehicle in our driveway and wear their branded merchandise. When someone places a massive Ford decal on their back window or aggressively tattoos the Chevrolet bow tie onto their arm, they are unconsciously engaging in prehistoric tribal signaling. They are broadcasting to the world that they belong to a specific group of people who share the exact same values and the exact same work ethic. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as in-group bias, which is a powerful cognitive preference for people who share your affiliations while simultaneously displaying active prejudice against out-group members. This is exactly why a die-hard Toyota owner will look at a Honda owner with a subtle sense of superiority, even though both vehicles are practically identical Japanese commuter cars engineered for the exact same global demographic. The human brain artificially inflates the positive qualities of the brand we chose while actively hunting for the flaws in the competing brand just to validate our own decision and make us feel secure. In our tribal ranking, this psychological need for validation leads us directly into a fascinating concept known as identity economics. Traditional economics assumes that humans make rational purchasing decisions based purely on utility and price. But identity economics proves that people will gladly pay more money for an objectively inferior product if that product aligns perfectly with how they view themselves. A truck buyer might inherently know that a competing brand offers a slightly better transmission or vastly better fuel economy, but they will still confidently purchase their preferred brand because driving the other truck would cause severe cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort experienced by someone who holds two or more contradictory beliefs or values at the same time. If a man has built his entire masculine identity around being a rugged working-class Dodge Ram driver, sitting behind the steering wheel of a luxury-focused GMC Sierra would physically make him feel like an absolute imposter in his own life. The brand has literally merged with his ego, so any attack on the brand is neurologically processed by his brain as a direct personal attack on his character. Automotive marketing departments are acutely aware of this psychological vulnerability, and they spend billions of dollars every single year specifically engineering their advertisements to exploit our primal human need for belonging. They do not just sell a combination of steel and glass, they sell a carefully curated psychological archetype designed to mirror your aspirations. Jeep does not merely sell a noisy, unaerodynamic box on wheels. They sell the archetype of the rugged outdoor adventurer who can conquer any obstacle and reject boring societal norms. BMW does not merely sell a rear-wheel drive luxury sedan. They sell the archetype of the aggressive, successful corporate executive who demands absolute precision and dominance on the road. Subaru does not just sell a practical all-wheel drive wagon. They sell the archetype of the deeply empathetic nature lover who cares profoundly about the environment and rescuing stray dogs. When a consumer buys the car, they are effectively purchasing an expensive psychological shortcut to that specific personality trait. Once the purchase is finally made, a powerful psychological mechanism called the sunk cost fallacy begins to permanently cement their loyalty to the brand. The sunk cost fallacy is our cognitive tendency to follow through on an endeavor if we have already invested massive amounts of time or effort or money into it, regardless of whether the current costs outweigh the benefits. Vehicles are the second most expensive purchase most people will ever make in their entire lives, so admitting that you bought the wrong brand is psychologically devastating. It forces you to admit that you made a massive financial mistake and that your judgment is flawed, so instead of accepting reality, the human brain forcefully doubles down on the choice. the owner will eagerly join dedicated brand-specific internet forums and attend exclusive car meets where their choice is constantly validated in a massive echo chamber of like-minded individuals. In these hyper-specific automotive communities, the brand becomes a shared religion complete with its own unique language, inside jokes, and mythological manufacturing history. They will spend countless hours laughing at internet memes about how completely unreliable the rival brand is, while completely ignoring the catastrophic engine failures happening inside their own garages. The selective blindness is a textbook example of confirmation bias, where the brain actively filters out any incoming information that contradicts their established belief system, while eagerly accepting any data that proves them right. If their preferred brand issues a massive global safety recall, they will quickly rationalize it by saying that the company is proactively taking care of its loyal customers and demonstrating great corporate responsibility. But if the rival brand issues the exact same recall for the exact same part, they will immediately use it as definitive proof that the rival company builds absolute garbage and does not care about human life. This extreme polarization is further amplified by the physical sensation of driving the vehicle itself day after day. Cars are incredibly tactile machines, and every automotive brand engineers a very specific sensory signature into their vehicles to make them feel unique. A Porsche has a distinctly heavy and mechanical steering feel, while a modern Audi feels incredibly light and effortlessly precise. Over years of daily driving, the owner's muscle memory adapts perfectly to their specific vehicle's sensory signature. When they finally test drive a different brand, the new car objectively feels wrong to their highly calibrated nervous system. The brake pedal might engage half an inch too early, or the turnstock might have the wrong acoustic click, or the seat bolstering might sit slightly too high on their ribs. The brain instantly misinterprets this unfamiliar sensory data as inferior engineering, rather than simply recognizing it as a different design philosophy. This physical unfamiliarity physically reinforces the psychological narrative that their chosen brand is the only one that truly understands how to build a proper vehicle. Interestingly, this extreme brand loyalty often peaks during times of intense economic or social uncertainty in the world. When the external world feels chaotic and unpredictable, people instinctively cling tighter to the familiar symbols of their in-group for psychological comfort and stability. Knowing that you belong to a massive global community of Mustang enthusiasts provides a measurable reduction in baseline daily anxiety. It gives you an immediate common ground with total strangers, allowing you to strike up a deeply passionate conversation with a mechanic in a completely different country simply because you both appreciate the exact same exhaust note. However, this intense, fierce loyalty also completely blinds consumers to the reality of modern globalized automotive manufacturing. The truth is that the bitter rivalry between major automotive brands is largely an illusion maintained purely for marketing purposes to keep consumers emotionally engaged. The modern automotive industry is actually a deeply intertwined web of shared platforms and joint ventures where supposedly bitter corporate rivals quietly collaborate behind the scenes to save billions of dollars in research and development costs. The aggressively styled Toyota Supra is secretly hiding a German BMW engine right under its hood, while the rugged Ford Ranger and the dependable Volkswagen Amarok essentially share the exact same underlying structural architecture. Countless crucial components like automatic transmissions manufactured by ZF or fuel injectors built by Bosch or airbags produced by Takata are used universally across almost every major automotive manufacturer, regardless of the specific shiny badge glued to the steering wheel. The fierce tribal warriors aggressively arguing in the comment sections of YouTube are literally fighting over microscopic differences in software tuning and exterior plastic cladding, while fundamentally driving the exact same globalized part, spin technology. Yet pointing this completely logical and easily verifiable fact out to an extreme brand loyalist will only make them significantly angrier, because factual logic is completely irrelevant when you are dealing with matters of faith and personal identity. The shiny logo attached to the front grille is no longer just a legal corporate trademark. It has evolved into a sacred talisman that protects their entire psychological worldview. It vividly represents their cherished childhood memories of riding in the back seat of their father's truck, and it represents the countless hours they happily spent turning cold wrenches with their closest friends in a freezing garage on a Saturday night. You simply cannot logically argue someone out of a belief system that they did not logically argue themselves into in the first place. Their unwavering brand loyalty is an emotional anchor in an increasingly disposable and transient modern world. So the absolute next time you happen to see two fully grown adults aggressively shouting at each other in a crowded grocery store parking lot over whether a naturally aspirated V8 engine is superior to a twin turbocharged V6, realize that they are not actually arguing about mechanical engineering. They are acting out a million-year-old evolutionary script, desperately defending their chosen tribe and violently fighting for their own psychological significance in a massive universe that simply does not care what kind of car they drive.